Good afternoon, and today is July 11th of 2022, or 7/11. To most people, this is just another listing, another house for sale. But 739 Cedar Drive in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. This house, I have a lot of personal memories from, a lot of fond memories when I was growing up many years ago. This is actually the house that my Uncle Paul and Aunt Shirley, and of course cousins Andrew and Brady, lived in Phoenixville for many, many years. It looks like around 10 years ago, it was for sale. And by then they had even done quite a lot of these upgrades and renovations and stuff. But this house, from the outside, it's easily recognizable. It's when you get to the inside pictures and you're like, wow. Now, as a kid, teenager, we spent quite a few years coming out here to Phoenixville to go visit the moo cow farm, as we used to call it, watch cows get milked and get fresh ice cream, and always loved driving through Valley Forge in my uncle's red Volkswagen bus. A lot of fond memories out here in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. And so I just wanted to go through some of these pictures really quick. So this is, the front of the house. Somewhere on the lawn around here, towards the bottom in the middle, there was a pipe. So, I don't know, maybe it's actually hidden between these bushes. I forget. I just remember there was always like a trip hazard. Some kind of sewage pipe or something coming out of the ground. But that's the front of 739. And there's the driveway shot. Like, looking at this, I know there were hedges that went along the front. So, like down by where you see the sidewalk on the bottom there, this is all hedges in the front there many years ago. And I don't see that pipe in the ground there. So, like I said, maybe it's hidden, or maybe they removed it at some point. But it's just, I don't know, it's feeling kind of melancholy, I know my cousin was feeling that way earlier today. This is the backyard. Now, that deck is new, but, so here's the driveway on the right side now. And that door there, that leads directly into the basement. I think you went through the laundry room where the washer and the dryer were, and then you went into the other side of the basement area where my uncle had all of his ham radio, CB radio, all kinds of electronics, radios, transmitters, microphones. He just loved all of those electronic things, especially like the ham radio, the ability to talk to somebody on the other side of the world by bouncing, radio waves off the ionosphere of our, of our upper layers. He just loved that, This was before we had technology like, the internet. But this, I don't know, like if you look where these two planters are on the corners of the deck, I have vivid memories of, I guess because my uncle was with the Boy Scouts, and he had, Brady was always involved with the Boy Scouts and stuff, so they had tents, and I remember sleeping out in the backyard in a tent, and I remember freaking out because there was a slug, and my cousin Andrew wanted to pour salt on the slug, and, these are backyard memories. They're just, silly little things, but it's funny, all the memories that come to mind, that you don't expect. You're just looking at a picture of the back of the house, but it's like I was there, many years ago. Another backyard shot, and they looks like they did a really nice job. Sprucing it up in the back there. I'd love to have a little deck like this, in my backyard. Maybe someday when the wood doesn't cost a fortune. We'll see. And if I'm not mistaken, across the street there, where that truck is, there was a little strawberry blonde that I think I had a little crush on when I was like a little, 8-year-old kid or something. I used to get a kick out of seeing her there. But these are childhood memories of, just playing and having all kinds of toys. I know my cousin had, it was like a crane. We used to play in his room and pick up stuff with this little crane. You turn a little hand crank and stuff. Childhood memories. Just an innocent time, That was the slope. Yeah, that hill, it doesn't really show it in the picture, but I vaguely remember, like, after you got past this tree here, which I don't really remember, to be honest. I'm sure it was there. It looks like an older tree, but this suddenly went, it was a bit of a drop there. So I do remember that. Here's the fun part, okay? There's so many things going on in this picture in my mind. I'm going to try to keep this video somewhat short, but I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to get a little long. This was, from the far left here. I forget if it was a table and a chair or something, but pretty much where the camera is, there was a couch against the wall. And I can remember laying on the couch. I remember I had tonsillitis one year. And I remember screaming, "Mom, my throat is like it's on fire!" And they gave me some kind of throat lozenge, and it was kind of making my throat a little numb. And if you ever had tonsillitis, there was like little pock marks on my tonsils, and I remember saying something about, "I can taste the pus on my tonsils," and Mom was like, "Ed, shut up! We're trying to eat lunch. We're at the kitchen table trying to eat lunch, and you're on the couch there, feeling like garbage." Don't say that, we're eating. But this is the room. This is the living room. Now here we always had the front door. My Uncle Paul it was like a double lock system. And he had a lock above it, which had a key. And so it was one of these deadbolts where there was a keyhole on both sides. And on this side, there was always a key so that when you left the house, you had to pull the key out, take it with you. It was a lanyard on it. And then on the other side of the door, this way, the only way to lock yourself out of the house is to, I don't know what, you had to remove the key, go outside, put the key in on the outside lock, keyhole, to lock the deadbolt. And I thought that was very, very clever. But I'll never forget the key just kind of hanging out there with the lanyard stuck in the door. When you occupied the house. On the right here is a flight of stairs. And I want to say at the top of the stairs there on the left, I think that was... I think that was Andrew's room. It was either Andrew's or Brady's. If you're watching this, you can probably correct me. But I spent a lot of time in that room with my cousins playing, I don't know, I think we had Lego... Probably Lincoln Logs. At some point, I know my uncle had some kind of I think it was the Atari 2600, but he had the ability to have these cartridges with chips that you could change the chips. You could take one cartridge as like a universal cartridge and just change the chips, and you were able to copy what was on the chips so everybody could swap the video games. And how many times were we up there, playing video games, playing Warlords, and Pong, and but Warlords was always fun because you had the paddles, so you could have 4 people. So it was me and Anthony, Andrew and Brady, sitting in front of a television playing Warlords on the Atari 2600 upstairs in the bedroom. Just phenomenal. These stairs, unfortunately, are the stairs that my aunt had fallen down, and she's okay, but she hit her head, and it was a big problem. So stairs are a little bittersweet, tragedy, but things are okay. But this was the living room, and then they had like a long runway type of a stretch of. I don't think it was carpet. I think it was like a piece of clear plastic with little cleats in it, going from the front door towards the kitchen. So it kind of went diagonal right through the living room to get to the kitchen, and kind of keep the carpet from getting all muddied up. I'm just remembering the old style. Obviously, this is all cleaned up, bright white. So my memories are quite vivid from, the early 1970s, mid 1970s, maybe late 1970s, early 1980s. Where a lot of things were your decor, I think it was like a green carpet, and you always had some kind of brown this and orange that and golden this, and very autumn colors from the 1970s. And so this looks phenomenal, what they did. So that's a cool memory. Now here's an interesting thing. Just a quick FYI. So the bottom of the stairs there, on the right, you'll see a door. And then you can see immediately into the stairwell that goes down into the basement. That doorway was never there. That was just a wall. Funny thing is, the light switch, I think, was always there. And above it, you can see the thermostat on the wall there. That never changed. So, after all the updates and renovations and stuff, I guess they left the wiring for the thermostat and the wall switch. But that doorway there was never there. In order to get to the basement, you had to come through the living room. You made a left into the kitchen there. So that was the same. And there was never this sliding glass door thing to go out to the patio. It was just a wall. I seem to remember there were like metal shelves. And I think it has like a box of like computer printer paper, if you wanted to write like little scrap notes and stuff, like on the top of the metal shelves. And basically that was like whatever they had. The dining room was always there. The dining room table, I should say, was always there. And for family events, it went, from, say, where the living room is, straight out to where the shelves are, where the sliding glass doors are, a rectangular table. And it's just really cool to see how they've brightened everything up with these neutral whites and grays. You'll see on the wall there's a brown wall switch next to the curtains by the sliding glass door. To the left of that are kitchen cabinets, and somewhere right in that little corner, I forget if it was on the wall or on the side of the cabinets, but there was a wall telephone with the world's longest telephone cord. It was no cordless phones, so if you wanted some privacy, you could answer the phone or make a phone call, dial with the rotary dial, and then maybe take that phone handset and go, I don't know, into the living room. I think you could get part of the way into the middle of the basement. It was a very long cord, but that's how you could have some maneuverability. You were always tethered to the wall, no matter what. So that brought back some memories. And then, of course, if you make a left to go into the kitchen, that's how you could get down. You had your refrigerator and your stove and your oven and stuff like that. And then you would get into the corner to get, I think there were curtains to go down into the basement, the flight of stairs there. And now, like I said, now you can kind of go in a circle. Living room, kitchen, or dining room, kitchen, go in a circle, or go downstairs into the basement. Here's a different angle, right? So where the curtain is here, that's where the couch was along the wall there. And this is a different angle of this whole thing. And again, that door was not there. I guess that was an old register. I'm assuming that was always there. It looks like an older register for the air conditioning. Very cool living room. A little further back, a little wider shot. And the wide angle, lenses that they're using kind of exaggerates. I don't remember it being, this wide or spacious. But it was like a second home in my mind. It was a very comfortable place to be. Always great to see the family. Different angle again. There's of course the front door, and I guess they did away with the with the deadbolt. They probably changed all that out, put a new door on, and cleaned up everything nice. So there's the kitchen. I like the backsplash there. That's pretty. All new stuff. I seem to remember the kitchen was in the same exact spot, so I'm assuming that the plumbing was moved very little, if anything. And then looking over that for the dining room table. You also have to remember, from my personal point of view, this was me and my brother coming to visit my cousins and my aunt and my uncle with my mom and my dad. Just a pretty special part of my history, So here we go. Here's the kitchen, and again, you had to come around to get to the basement. The stairs there. Kind of hard to tell from this shot, but it is a flight of stairs. Obviously, it goes down into the basement there, where they have the darker gray carpeting. And again, the door is open now, butted up against the side of the refrigerator. And I just remember it was kind of dark in that corner. I want to say they had dark brown paneling, if I'm not mistaken. So it just made the room very dark, even with the light on. It was always just a very dark kind of look. That's why, even with my house that I bought here out in Claysburg, Pennsylvania, everything is bright, white or cream-colored walls. It just kind of brightens everything up. My whole life, I always had, paneling in the rec room, paneling in the kitchen, darker colors throughout the whole house. This just cleans everything up. It just makes it bright and minimal lighting needed. You can see where you're going. You can see what you're doing. They did a phenomenal job. I can't even imagine, how much whoever it was that's now listing this house, how much did they spend on all these upgrades. Kudos, though. Very, very exciting to see. Again, that back deck was never there. Like I said, probably where that light spot is on the grass. That was where we had the tents. Maybe a little bit closer, I should say, actually, to the deck. Cool stuff, And back again, just showing you, obviously, that you can go around in circles now that the doorway is there. I guess they blew out a non-supporting couple of, beams, blew out the wall there and put the doorway. Pretty exciting stuff. And now you start to see a glimmer of how you can get into the basement there. There's the banister to go down. And here we come. Yeah, this is all the memories coming back here. These stairs, there was no carpeting, none of that stuff. It was a very dark room, okay? Going from left to right, okay, so this was the stairs that came down. I think there were curtains at the top, so that automatically made it darker. But I think starting from pretty much where the corner of that chocolate brown couch is, all the way out to the wall, and then you see the window here, right? In this whole corner here, between the corner of the couch all the way back to the wall before it makes the L shape going towards the right, that whole area was, like you could launch a rocket ship from it, like NASA Central, with all of the radios, the ham radios, like I said, the CB radios. He had so many things. He had LED clocks that he built, from scratch kits. I want to say Heath, if I'm not mistaken, Heath. Alarm clock kits, or just a regular digital clock that had the hours, the minutes, and the seconds, and it was some kind of kit that he bought. I think he had a soldering iron. I know he had this huge, it was a fluorescent light, round fluorescent tube that went around um, a magnifying glass on the end of an articulating crane type arm. So if you were working on something, it was not only just a light to work, to slide and move it over, go up and down, left, right, or whatever, the spring-loaded arms, but there was also a magnifying glass. Phenomenal for doing, soldering of tiny circuits and things like that. So all that stuff was all kind of piled on top of each other, different layers, different levels. There were like different wooden shelves, I think, that he built. He built this whole station right there in that corner. I remember coming down one day, and I forget what I asked my uncle. Something about, it was either continents or space. My uncle was giving me a National Geographic magazine. I had asked a question. It was probably a school-related project. And I think I was so enamored by all these gadgets. I think that's where I got most of that curiosity that it's okay to take electronic things apart. Take apart an electric clock. See how it works. See what it does. What are the trim pots, the capacitors and the resistors and the diodes and all those amazing things. Mercury switches, whisker switches, and mercury little lamps that glow orange, all these fascinating things. And I'm just looking at all this stuff, and I remember my mom saying, "Ed, pay attention," because he was trying to explain something about, I think, continents shifting, as either that or something to do with planets. But either way, I know he was handing me a National Geographic magazine to take with me, and was trying to not just give me the magazine, but also to actually explain and teach me something. And I guess my wide-eyed, kid in a candy shop, just like looking at all these things, and I think my uncle was like, "It's okay, I get it, I understand." He's just, just absorbing all this stuff, and he's trying to teach me something about whatever, as he's giving me this National Geographic magazine. But I'll never forget that. I just I got caught up in the moment, and Mom was like, "Pay attention." But really cool stuff. Really cool memories of this little. I guess back then you didn't call it a man cave, but this was pretty much where my uncle would go to hang out for most of the time. You didn't have the internet. You didn't have. There was no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. There was no computer screens to type and go on the internet. Nothing like that. So my uncle found joy in all these electronic things and setting up antennas to pick up, like I said, different frequencies. Just listening to a conversation out in, Tokyo, Japan, or, maybe someplace out in Switzerland or something. You just different languages, and then you try to pick up little bits and pieces of stuff, and it was just absolutely fascinating. So anyway, all that stuff happened down here, and I'll get to so this is another shot pretty much at the bottom of the stairs. So again, the workstation was on the far left, and I guess the white doors on the right there was a closet. I think winter coats and stuff like that might have been in there. Now here's, it's so funny. This is the far corner of the basement in the opposite direction. There's the stairs, obviously. This little chest or TV stand or whatever it is, above it was, I think he had a television, if I'm not mistaken, and rabbit ears on top of it. But on that wall, above where the chest is now, was a poster. It was a poster of a Hasidic Jew wearing a Superman costume, Superman outfit, with a big S on his chest. I think it was an S. It might have been a Hasidic letter. And a red cape, and posing inside of a telephone booth. And that poster was always on the wall. I'm still not sure exactly what it was, but obviously it made my uncle laugh. Pretty neat stuff. The door here, I think, goes into the laundry room, where the washer and the dryer are. Small little laundry room area. It's just so interesting to like recall. And you have to understand, I'm 52 right now. So you're talking about memories, like 45 years ago. I haven't seen this house or these rooms or just going through this whole thing for decades. So to me, just seeing this is just, it's a little humbling, Different angle there. Again, this was where the chest is. Poster was on the wall there. Superman in a telephone booth as a Hasidic Jew. And again, they did a phenomenal job with brightening everything up. The carpeting, the walls, the colors, the chair rail there along the wall. Just really cool stuff. Now we come all the way upstairs. This was where my aunt and uncle stayed. This was the master bedroom. And I remember that there was a fan in the window. Sort of where that air conditioning hose is going out of now. There was a fan. And it was aimed outside. And I thought, why are you doing it? You're missing the breeze. And my uncle explained he felt that because this was the highest room in the house, that if you flip the fan around and you have it blowing the air outside, you're actually drawing the hot air. Heat rises. So as warm as it might be in the living room, as warm as it might be in my cousin Andrew's and Brady's in the bathroom, another half of a flight of stairs up was the master bedroom, highest point in the house. Where does all the heat rise to? Their bedroom, right? And I remember him explaining that to me as a kid, the science of heat rising. And so he felt that if you draw and you pull the air out, not only are you pulling all the risen air that's hot out of that room, you're actually creating a slight vacuum in the house. And so if you open up a lower window downstairs in the living room, in a sense, you're actually sucking in some cooler air from downstairs and trying to pull some of that cooler air upstairs to help not only cool the room by bringing cooler air in upstairs, but also to exhaust some of the hot air out the window. And he was very smart on the science behind that, whereas if we did it the other way, we'd be taking all the hot air that had risen and blowing it back down into the lower floors, the bedrooms, and downstairs into the living room. So, very interesting science lesson from all that. Different angle. And there was the flight of stairs there, right, that went down. Now, across the hallway, if that wasn't Andrew's, that was Brady's room. It was one of their two bedrooms, I forget. And then if you made a right at the bottom of the handrail there, that went into the bathroom. Some closet space. I think the door on the right might actually go up to a tiny half of an attic type of thing or some kind of storage. I forget. There's the bathroom, the famous bathroom. There's the toilet. Obviously, it's a newer toilet. But there's the toilet where I remember in the middle of the night, we were staying over, and I had to go pee. And so I got up, and I went into the bathroom. And my cousin Andrew thought it would be really funny to grab my stuffed panda bear Ling Ling. And he opened the door while I was peeing in the toilet. And I don't know if he did it on purpose or he dropped it, but Ling Ling wound up in the toilet and I wound up peeing on Ling Ling in the toilet, and I remember having quite a fit. I was not happy with Andrew for a while after that. But that happened right there. It was one of those, goofy boys being boys, and we're just, yeah. So that was the bathroom, and Ling Ling, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He's in a dump someplace, unfortunately. But this was one of the two bedrooms, and I can't tell you for sure which one was which. I'm not quite sure of the layout. This was either Andrew's bedroom or Brady's bedroom, and again, one of these was where we played with the crane thing, where you picked up little toy cars and stuff with the claw, and the Atari games and stuff like that. So I'm guessing, looking at the bathrooms at the far end, this must have been Andrew's room. And I remember because if you see, there's a slight angle, right? So that behind the bed, the wall comes out, but then it juts a little angular. See the angle there? I think this was Andrew's room, and then this would have been Brady's room right outside to the left before you get to the bathroom. So this must have been Andrew's. And then I'm assuming this was Brady's. And if I had to guess, along the wall here, if I just got hit with a flashback, was a bed and a cot. And I think my cousin Brady stayed in his bed. And then I think there was a cot right next to it. And that's where my brother slept. I think I slept with my cousin Andrew. And Brady usually stayed with Brady. Anthony stayed with Brady in this room on a cot. Man, that was a long time ago. I think where the crib is, there was a desk. And I seem to remember there was a weird little fan and some kind of thing either my uncle made out of a metal box, which had a rheostatic dimmer type of dial, and it had an extension cord coming off the box and an electrical outlet. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he plugged the fan into this thing, this box, and you could control the speed of the fan. And I remember it was quite warm up there, and so we cranked it at full. And I remember the fan took about a half an hour to get up to full speed. I don't know what that was. I seem to think it was something that my uncle made, maybe out of bits and pieces, from work or things that he collected over the years and stuff. But I remember once it got going, it was okay. But just one of these things that my uncle loved to make or put together, or just something that you wouldn't find anywhere else, And I think that was where the crib right now is. There was a desk there. And back down into the basement. This is the laundry room. On the other side of where my uncle's man cave was. And then they obviously added a nice little shed in the backyard. And then just a nice wide shot, okay? And again, there were hedges that went all along the front here. At one point, anyway. And I think my uncle's red Volkswagen bus was parked on the driveway. And I seem to remember my Aunt Shirley had a small, I forget what color, a Volkswagen Beetle, the little manual drive Volkswagen Beetle parked on the driveway. Back to the backyard. Somewhere in one of the photo albums, there's a picture of Uncle Paul with jet black hair holding baby Andrew right around somewhere in the middle of the screen right now. And I think he had very thick army type, military type eyeglasses. I seem to remember a picture that was taken right there. And that's basically it. Like I said, Mom, Dad, me and Anthony visiting Uncle Paul and Aunt Shirley, Andrew and Brady. And I vaguely remember they had a black dog named Snoopy. Good memories. And then that's it. The living room where we would just gather and chit-chat for hours and hours and hours. And like I said, Anthony and I would run upstairs with Andrew and Brady and play games and just have a fun time being kids, you know? So anyway, 739 Cedar Drive in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. I know my cousin, had posted something about this today. That's how I first learned that it was for sale. And, $330,000, that's it's interesting to see, what they paid for it back then versus what they're selling for now. Pretty cool stuff, pretty neat stuff. So if you're looking for a house for sale, you want to buy, you're interested in the Phoenixville area, it's a good house. And for me personally, a lot of really awesome childhood visiting family memories right here in Phoenixville, PA. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me ramble on. And if nothing else, this was just for me to remember the past by. Cool stuff. So, anyway, that's it for now. Talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.